We be live, mateys. Post my thing. Oh, all over the place. Stream. Ping. Yes. Did it go off? Start event. Start event. Yes. Okay. Ah. Hello, Frog. OP Nice Man, Siles, Mika. Yeah, what snacks have y'all got? I'm excited to see that. I'm not doing the best. Today ended up being a very inconvenient day to to have this stream. I'll say that. But it's okay. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get through it. Everyone give Kath a round of applause, by the way.
Lizard.
Ah! Been absolutely jump scared by that. Thank you. I'm feeling okay. I just am a little bit stressed. Basically, so I have to go help my grandparents with like moving and stuff. And they're in like Minnesota. So I thought that I was going to be leaving Sunday. Turns out it's tomorrow at 4 in the morning. So I also am. So the 18th, I think, around then, next month, I am moving in with Virgil. It's like official. So I won't be back until October 2nd. And I thought that I was going to have this week to start sending some of my things out there. Apparently not. So I will have 2 weeks exactly to get everything in my room packed up. And ready to move. So that's going to be a little bit stressful. So unfortunately, Lore Tuesday next week will not happen because I will be gone. However, good news, Virgil's going to be doing the next the next faction meeting again, which is pretty exciting. I know you guys loved that last time. We're going to see more Marcelo crash outs. So be ready. Maybe drive by Vegas. Sadly, I'm not driving, I'm flying. But I would love to stop by Vegas. Haha. Summon Eclipse. Oh, are you? Yeah, if you legend has it that if you pull Eclipse 3 times, your character gets killed by her next. Have I ever had homemade flan? You feel bad asking? Why would you feel bad asking if someone's ever had homemade flan? No, I have not, but that sounds like delicious. I like flan. I like custards. Very good. I never said hi to you? It's because I don't like you. I'm kidding. Hi, Strawberry. Sorry, I miss a lot of people. I was kind of going on a little rant. Feiha, oh. Wow. You finally sorted out. Oh my gosh, CJ! It's CJ instead of whatever it was before. I don't even remember. What have y'all got for snacks? I want to know. I was gonna bring some chips over, but I actually got corn on the cob, and I ate that before the stream, so I think I'll be good. Pasta? What kind of pasta? No, caps is valid for pasta. No eclipses so far. Interesting. You got flan and coffee. Let's go. Inkadot. Right. Tell the Faye I said hi as well. Dark chocolate with almonds. Matcha latte in a dream. That's so real. Pepperoni? All right, well, what we're going to do first is probably the lore sheets, and then we're going to go into Lore Tuesday. There is a lot. Also, the music that you're hearing right now, I'm probably going to be using it for most of the time, unless it gets too repetitive, is my own music that I wrote for an RPG that Virgil's running. So it'll probably be just kind of vibing in the background. If it gets repetitive, let me know. Or if it sounds weird, let me know. Yeah. Trying to find the right volume level. Right back at you, Kath. You're writing, dude. Kath wrote 35,000 words plus whatever the other 3 things were in less than a week. You guys hear my cat? Get out of here. Get out. I have a compressed air can next to me. Yeah, everyone, round of applause for Kath. All right, last time was the 16th, so everything after the 16th we will read. I'm gonna go ahead and jump over here. Oh. Who are we getting? Is it Eclipse? I'll let your character die if that's true. Oh, it's Freya. It's me! Let's go. That means your character lives forever. Whoever that was. The Mind Electric. You guys, if you haven't seen the animation to the Mind Electric by Lonely Man's Lazarus, do it. It's one of the coolest things ever. Reason I love that song so much. Stop pulling things with the crane. All right, we have. I'm guessing it's Zilong. Is this like Z as in like Z or Z? Oh, hold on. The bonk needs to be moved. Sorry, I took away. Okay, would you rather have the bonk and the hand pat on me, or do you want me to bring back Marcelo and Freya down there? What's the thought? You're just petting the SMP. Me? Okay. Bonk is back on me. Hand pat is back on me. There we go. Yes, me? Okay, Zilong's... Wait, how do you say this? Wait, hold on. Can I, like... How to pronounce? How to pronounce... How to pronounce zoologist? Alright, we're not trusting the AI over... You say Zilang Su. Okay, Zilang Su. Background. Let me zoom in here. Background, human. Human before incident. Oh, no, not the incident. He grew up in a rich area and became friends with this kid named Redacted. What a weird name. Meeting him caused Zilang Su to go on a downward spiral to insanity. When he was 15, he killed 5 people from school. He did not get arrested. At age 23, he killed 10 more people and claimed they were choking him. They were not. He got sent to 10 people is crazy. He got sent to an insane asylum where he was then set to be executed. His execution was sent to space to slowly die. Jeez. After being sent there, he developed schizophrenia. After he died, he found himself floating on a piece of scrap metal. He was very confused and swore he wasn't human anymore. Or at least it seemed that way. How was he alive? He did not feel right. He touched his face. Blood? Ink? Something? All he knew was there was something dripping. He swore he saw someone. It ran at full speed, and he passed out. He floated around Solace's orbit before crashing. He woke up in an unknown place. A backyard? How did he end up here? He's been on Solace for a day. He's seen his new appearance. Odd. He still sees that thing that ran at him that day. He doesn't get scared, but only if he sees that thing. I'm guessing that's what he looks like now. That's your roommate? Let's go. Alright. We have Judas. I've seen some posts in the lore from Judas, but I have no idea what the character is like, so I have no idea how to ask questions. I'm going to kill Cypher. Too bad Cypher's already dead. I know you're talking about the other Cypher. Judas Kael'mar Arcanus. Here he is. Whenever he's in his gym or home, he'd only wear a white t-shirt. Alright, where's the... We got the whole outfits here. Okay. Backstory. He was born on Ixora in the city of Arendralis. Judas was born as an Umbrekin. They're taller and darker, dark gray, and lighter, light gray. As a child, Judas had gotten into many scuffles and watched his fights on the television in his house. And for one thing, he loved the most was Vakrashin, which translates to Art of Foot Strikes, which is technically kickboxing. But there's something that he don't like. The ruler of Nixora, Dervin Calvaset. The reason because he doesn't like the ruler is simply because the ruler and its own government is corrupt. He learned kickboxing at age 14 and he competed in both local and amateur fights for fun. One day, while Judas was resting beside his bed, the Great Anomaly event happened, causing a large chunk of his species population. Everything he had done as a kickboxer, his trophies, medals, etc. vanished. His parents died in the Great Anomaly, his older sister is missing, and he's alone. When word spread about the planet Solace, where it had 10% of the universe's population. Technically, it's... I messed that up. The way that where Eclipse and Cypher or whatever says this the last 10%. The Solace does not hold the last 10%. They hold a teeny tiny amount. Anyway, he decided to go there via refugee ships. Alright. Awesome. Headcanon, his name is from the Bible? It's not a headcanon if it's your own character, is it? I guess I make headcanons about my characters. My headcanon is that Eclipse is a lesbian. But I don't have any written proof that she's a lesbian yet. There's probably people floating around in space. Yeah. Steelix ain't dropping gifted subs. Don't do that. Name Dexter Goodwin. Grew up on a planet called Nice. Nice. When he grew up, he became the head of the Royal Guard, sworn to protect his king. But after some unfortunate event, his planet was destroyed, sending him into a long journey through space. After the redacted event, while in space, messed up his mind a little bit. After years in space, he crash landed on Solace. A lot of people happen to crash land on Solace. Solace must be a magnet. Anyway, awesome sauce. And then we have Rotwood Sterling. The art here is really cool. Let me make sure everyone can see this. Who needs a savior when you've got yourself? Rotwood, a gun for hire who was on the move constantly. His family, small but sturdy, was wiped out from a sickness that he brought back after a difficult but successful convoy mission. After this incident, he was practically destroyed, mentally at least. He took it as far as to morally outcast himself, taking on some foul habits such as cannibalism, greed, and violent actions. He became a gruesome individual, constantly killing things around him. Luckily, no people for now, maybe. His acts of gluttony are often seen by him munching on raw meat or rotten flesh. He likes to stay silent usually, but he is more chatty around friends. We got way too many cannibals on Solace. As of now, his only friends, blank, are Danson and Feather. He is constantly nomadic and never stays in one place, but he has made home in a room located in Avian's Perch's basement. The said room being a drink storage room with a pile of hay barrels for a makeshift bed. May those dearest to me live on forever, and the ones who oppose soak in their own blood. The art here is awesome. If you do commissions, I'm 100% commissioning you someday. Alright, we have... Is this another space cowboy? Rotwood resides on a rim world that closely encapsulates the old times Wild West. playing his role as an active gun for hire so that he could make some quick money for his family. On an eventual note, he was offered a sum of cash that was too good to be true, but of course his greed overtook common sense. He accepted the job, which was directed by a ragged group of pirates to join along on a convoy raid. This convoy, though, would be drastic to him. Life-changing, even. The attack went on for hours, but they eventually made it on board the ship, making a hustle for the target. During the fight that broke out within a ship's lower room, one of the pirates knocked over a wheeled cart that held dozens of infectious samples, shattering them all and allowing an immediate outbreak of a fatal disease to spread to everyone in the room. The weaker lives in the room succumbed to the sickness within minutes, others a bit longer, until it was just Rotwood and the target, a scientist, who both luckily wore gas masks. Rotwood put a swift end to the scientist and immediately retreated back to the main ship with the outposted pirates, burning the ship and leaving the scene. Rotwood made it home within 3 days after the job, having made enough money to support his wife and children. He may have felt safe, but no, he was nowhere close to that. The sickness slowly grew within him, and he didn't know it until his physical form started to change drastically. From once a man, he was turned into something unrecognizable for the most part. By the time that he noticed his symptoms, his family had caught it and had quickly succumbed to the sickness within days. Unlike his family, the sickness seemed to have halted, maybe even died off, but he was forever changed. The drastic change in life's pace and situation had taken a clear toll on him, and he took it as far as to morally outcast himself. The sickness still stirred in his brain, and with his bad mental state, urges grew more tempting. Cannibalism, greed, violence. It was all the new norm in his mind now. He continued his brutal but sustainable jobs until the great anomaly struck, practically deserting the planet like a ghost town. He was forced to evacuate the planet, and he did so by hijacking an abandoned spacecraft. With a small amount of hope and a lack of mechanical knowledge, he got it running and set course towards a signal that the spacecraft had picked up, a signal from one of the Solpac Union's Navy ships. Once he had reached the planet, he bunkered down in a small village for several weeks, staying hidden from anyone's view for now. Thank you in advance for the help, Kath. Kath, at it again, helping people. This is really well written. I love this. And you have a fantastic reason for, like, coming to Solace and all of this stuff. 10 out of 10, absolute cinema. This is what a lore sheet needs to be. This is what a backstory, like, everyone take note of this. And then we have Feather's new fit, which you'll see in a moment why it's significant. So many reactions. All right, to Lore Tuesday. Yippee! We're going to be going up here for a while. 19th. A lot happened on the 19th. I wonder what it was. I think I read this. We watched this. Yes. We just didn't read this, I don't think. Feather's missing a wing, perhaps. Perhaps! Classic cowboy duel? We should. I would love that. If I had a nickel for every RimWorld based on the Wild West, I've had 2 nickels. Alright. Let's get started. From Nyx, second entry. Children are hard to understand. Sunny wanted to go to school, so I let her. She got close to Okul and wanted to go on a trip with Okul. I didn't really like it and just signed so she could go. Because though I don't like Okul, I thought that at the very least they'd keep Sunny safe. But no. While yes, I know Sunny tried to do something dumb trying to hug Eclipse, and Okul could have held Sunny back at the very least. Okul could have made an attempt. But I guess nothing is above her, and in the end I won't give anyone the benefit of the doubt again. For better or worse. Spotify paused playback while transmitting audio? Dude, it's my own music. It's my own music. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Just do this then. Okay, hold on. I need to make it come through the right channel. Hold on. I need to open up my sound settings real quick. Meow, meow, meow. You hear my cat? Meow. 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 This is where we wanted to go from. All right, you hear it okay? Stop meowing. Oh my god, he's so loud. All right, from Bagel, don't forget. I'm not forgetting that. Oh wait, we already read this. Yeah, we already read this. This is the 16th. Everything after the 16th. I'm an idiot. We already read all this. Okay, hold on. This is at 11 p.m. I don't think we read this. So let's open this up. Beat it, breathe. He is a he looks like a Siamese. He's got the blue eyes, the color changing fur, the white and black, whatever. However, we got a DNA test on him. He's no part Siamese. He's maybe like 1% or something. He's like something else. He's a little mutt. He is a rescue, as are all of my cats. Beef, Virgil's cat, is orange. She's crazy. She's a yapper. Alright, looking at the past, Magos 4. Magos, whatever. Unit type Magos, unit name Solvex. Recollection time 503 years ago. Location the collector. Life forms entering noted. Life forms faction, light bearers. Forced compliance is required. Package noticed. Scanning. Highly powerful object inside. Alright, you freak. We have orders from Lord Rain himself that states you are the only one capable of storing this. May I ask what is held inside? I do not want this to ruin the integrity of the ship. Huh. I'm surprised a machine like you can even ask questions. I would have figured that the Plague Father would have wiped all personality from you Wireborns. Wireborns? And no, you cannot know. I can ensure this object will have a neat place in the collection. I also assume you are here to retrieve something as well? Scanning object. Yes, machine. We need prisoner D117. Affirmative. Sending scarabs to retrieve. Not the scarabs! Scarabs bringing. Complete. Life forms leaving. Scan completed. Object, Eye of Gabriel. Eye of Gabriel added to collection. Isn't that Gatsby? I feel like that's related to Gatsby. Everything Bagel posts is related to Gatsby. Is the stream frozen? I hope not. It might be on your end. Bagel tells me things so I know things. Don't worry about it. Light bears, I know things. Oh, I'm scared. Truffle journal. I'm currently in the process of researching spaceships so I can rebuild mine, because I want off this planet now. As if all of the stuff I underwent recently wasn't enough, I think I'm going to be assassinated. I was simply on my way back to the Joker's Corner after being discharged from the hospital. Dr. Magos wanted to have me stay, but I refused. The hospital was a rather... Stop talking! He knows to run away. The hospital was a rather depressing reminder of what happened to me. What had happened to us all. I decided, as I was leaving, to take a stroll through the garden. It was night. Rico, no, don't open the door, Rico! Best thanks for the prime for 3 months! I was by the flower garden looking out amongst the trees. I saw it. A dark cloak, likely stained by dirt and mud. Dark skin. No, likely dull scales. Terrifying yellow eyes that it seemed to be bleeding from. I just stood there for a moment. A moment I thought I was going to die. I ran and ran, trying to go as fast as possible. I ended up at the marketplace. That had to be Eclipse. Maybe she's tracking me down. Maybe she's tracking all of us down. Maybe we saw too much. I went back to the hospital, telling Dr. Magos that I hadn't get too good. I didn't feel so good, maybe. and perhaps needed to stay for an extra few days. I was smart about it, citing that I was out of breath and sore, something believable. He accepted me back in. I hope that here I'm safe. I'll file a report tomorrow. I can only hope everyone else is safe. Those bleeding yellow eyes still haunt me. Why were they bleeding? Maybe she was injured in some way. Maybe it's some kind of illness? I can only hope she keeps bleeding. I don't know if that was Eclipse, gang. I don't know if that was Eclipse. Visiting 2. Okay, this should be enough. Croy adjusted the bouquet of blue orchids in his grasp, concentrating on keeping the stems from phasing through his fingers. It was uncomfortable focusing whatever power he had left on this. Like his organs were being squeezed, the grip of this invisible pressure getting tighter. Even though he didn't have organs anymore. He believed it might have been similar to when a person loses a limb. The brain almost tricks itself into thinking the limb is still there sometimes. The ghost stood up from his crouched position and made his way through the swampy mangrove. It was the nearest area he knew of that had flowers he wanted. It was rich in them, the mud always seeming to grow more and more every time he came by. Although it was an area where a certain water spirit he did not like very much resided, it was one of his favorite places to wander through. He passed by MJ's office, which he saw no activity in. It was a shame, as the building seemed to be built very well. But he moved on, approaching Strawberry Hill, the towering statue of the angel casting a long shadow that covered him like a blanket as he moved through. The statue was beautiful, and the reason it was built was even more so. But it felt sometimes as if the towering figure oversaw everything across Solace, knowing truths beyond current knowledge of the Solacians below. It brought an uneasy feeling to Croy, but again he brushed it off. He could not be distracted. He wanted to get what he wanted to do over with. And sooner than part of him wanted, he was over the Strawberry Hill, passing by the Keepers of Solace building, and towards the path on his right, the one with the courthouse at the end. The fresh memories of the faction meeting lingered heavily in his mind, the looks of confusion, anger, and almost disgust on the people when he spoke. His serpent tongue tinted the words being the cause of such. It was those words he had written down so he wouldn't stumble, he wouldn't stammer. He had written and rewritten that script over and over again, no matter how many times the pen slipped through his grip, no matter how many times the pages his other hand held down were blown by the wind, as if his attempts to keep the paper still were useless. He practiced speaking. He thought over what questions may be asked, what would be said to him, so that he could at least be prepared for what came to him, so that he wouldn't cower, so he could keep his composure, even as he lied through his teeth. He stopped, his head turning up to look at the building before him, the blue cross made of lapis embedded into the quartz brick walls, making something within him feel as if it was sinking. For such horrors that went on inside, it presented itself as flawless, a perfect place to heal, to find sanctuary, to be helped. A trick Croy had fallen for many times before. A heavy sigh escaped the ghost's non-existent lungs, his deer ears sagging slightly, almost hidden within his hair. It is just to change the flowers, Croy. Just 10 minutes at most. 10 minutes. The ghost moved forward with that whispered self-reassurance, pushing open the door of the Keepers of Solace Hospital, grip tightening on the delicate bouquet in his hand. The receptionist didn't notice at all, which in all honesty made sense. For one, Croy was currently invisible. He wasn't allowing anyone to sense him. The only thing that could possibly be seen were the orchids, which would just be floating through the air. And following up with that, Croy believed that Balios was still in the hospital healing. He connected with nature to heal, so it wouldn't be weird if plants and flora came floating in. Trauma Room 1, occupied. Croy stared at the sign on the door before turning his head to the right, staring at the other 2 doors. Trauma Room 2, occupied. Trauma Room 3, occupied. That was Balios and Truffle's rooms. Croy had thought about visiting them both, bringing in gifts, or anything really. His guilt of what happened wouldn't let him. Guilt for not protecting them better, for even helping that search in the first place, for not doing enough. What would they think of him if he did? Hospital gossip spreads like wildfire between nurses and doctors. It is likely that at least Balios knows what Croy had said at the faction meeting. Balios trusted the ghost, so the look that he would give if he saw him. I cry every time Balios gets mentioned. I cry when Croy gets mentioned? Yeah. Dude, this is Balios' last days were just spent in the hospital and then went to try and kill Okal for what she did. and pay the price. Croy grunted, shaking his head, his free hand tugging at his hair to get himself to focus. This was not the time to be thinking of the what-ifs. In and out. 10 minutes. That's all that matters right now. So in he went, pushing open the door of Krufik's hospital room, the door slowly shutting behind him. He didn't even look at the woman lying in the bed, her chest slowly rising and falling, and the heart monitor beeping like a taunt in the background. He just moved towards the vase containing the drooping orchids from his last visit, their petals dull, some having fallen to the wooden desktop it rested upon. Almost immediately, he worked. He concentrated everything into his hands, removing the dead orchids from the vase, wrapping the end of the stems with tissue to prevent water from dripping onto the floor. He deposited them into a nearby bin before emptying the murky water in the vase into the metal sink, rinsing and cleaning it too. Finally, he refilled the ceramic curved container with fresh water, placing it on its original spot, followed by settling the new orchids into it, cutting off the ends of the stems to allow the flowers to soak up the water easier. And that is when Croy stepped back, his attention moving around the room. He noticed the chest by the bed was slightly agape, revealing all the books and cards and gifts within. He remembered when everyone placed those inside. He couldn't bring himself to go in that day, but he did write a book and placed it the first time he visited Krufik. At the thought, his attention switched to the person herself. She looked better than what she was on his last visit. She didn't have as many bandages around her head, and there was no pronounced amount of blood staining the white fabric. She looked peaceful, despite the reason for it. Croy remembered the eye bags she had, how her features were always firmly set, as if she was always scrutinizing something. But now the circles beneath her eyes were not so dark, and her facial features had softened. That's when Croy noticed something else, something he had somehow missed upon entering the room. In the chair beside the door was a man, sitting cross-legged with his hands interlocked in his lap, his elbows resting on the armrests. He had long, blonde hair that seemed to go down to the center of his back and curled behind his pointed ears. Tall, brown antlers sprouted from his scalp, vines and white flora woven around both. He wore a white button-up with the sleeves rolled up over his elbows, light brown shorts that ended just above his knees, and sandals. His eyes were a light green, holding a look that was slightly unreadable as his gaze focused on the vase and fresh flowers. At first, Croy only watched with confusion. How did he not notice the man there? And why was the man there anyway? He didn't recognize him from anywhere on Solace. Was he new? Why was he with Krufik? But it was when the man spoke that all the ghost's silent questions were answered. So you were the one who has been leaving those flowers. It was Eurillo. The voice wasn't exactly one easily missed. Despite the very few times Croy had heard it in the past, it made the ghost freeze, made their ears pin back. He couldn't see him, right? Croy was focusing all his power on the flowers. He couldn't have accidentally made himself visible to the god, could he? He watched as the god's eyes darted around the area where the ghost stood, which made a bit of relief wash over him. Maybe Eurillo can't see him after all. Croy could just sneak off easily, phase through the door, or hell, even the wall. But he couldn't help but hesitate. What if Eurillo was pretending? It isn't extremely unlikely. Are you able to allow me to see you? The question was simple, but Croy couldn't help but fidget nervously. He really didn't want to. He knew he could just leave. At least take the chance on the fact that Eurillo mightn't see him. Mightn't! I like that word. What would he do about it? That very question is the reason the ghost remained rooted to the spot. He wasn't sure if Eurillo would do something. He was well aware he could do something, but whether or not that possibility would be followed through or not. Croy grumbled in frustration, Irish curses flowing from his non-existent tongue like waves in the sea. His hand reached up, fingers curling around his fringe and tugging it sharply, trying to force himself to think, to focus. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be 10 minutes. 10 minutes in to replace the flowers, and that is it. That is all the interaction Croy will have with Krufik. All the contact he should have. But no, of course it can't be that simple. Too much of a privilege. It had only been 7 minutes and 24 seconds. 25. He could still make this go the way it was meant to. Finally, a decision was made. Croy adjusted himself as if to try to make his appearance lessen to its usual disturbing level, as if it mattered. The tar from his eye was still leaking down his cheek, no matter how many times he pushed it back in. His arm looked as if it was a sharp spike of dark red and black. Yet it dripped and twitched, like a melting ice spike, thawing mid-summer. 8 minutes, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Croy now stood visible before Eurillo, spiked arm behind his back, his other arm crossed over his chest as a poor attempt to cover one of the most concerning parts to his appearance. He tried to smile, but he knew it wouldn't come through. Only a slight wrinkle in the corner of his eyes, which faltered as he felt Eurillo now look right at him, seeing the god straighten up in his seat. "Hello, sir. My apologies, I did not notice you were there. I will take my leave now. Forgive me for barging in." That was Croy's attempt to politely leave, his body inching towards the door without waiting for any response from Eurillo. He was taking a chance, and he did come very close, his hand reaching for the doorknob. "Could I know your name before you leave?" Croy had to stop himself from cursing, stopping right in front of the door, reluctantly letting his hand fall to his side. He turned his head towards Eurillo, feeling as if the god could see right through him, especially because his eyes didn't seem to leave Croy at all, just maintaining eye contact. But the ghost forced himself to keep up the facade, hoping it was working. "Oh, right, where are my manners? My name is Croy." He noticed Eurillo's shift, noticing his face expression change ever so slightly, but it returned to its stoicism a moment later. "It is nice to meet you, Croy." "Thank you. It is also nice to meet you, sir." "Eurillo." "Ah, Eurillo. Got it." There was a long silence between them both after that, both just maintaining eye contact. Croy ended up glancing away, his deer ears twitching to the sound of the heart monitor, his gaze focused on Krufik this time. His shoulders sagged a little without his knowledge, a sense of anger and guilt clouding his thoughts. This would not have happened if I had just said something earlier. I did not even attempt. I just watched and took notes. Maybe the people at the faction meeting were right. I was not enough. 10 minutes and 43 seconds. 44. Croy was snapped out of his thoughts as something moved in front of him, breaking his stare and stopping his silent spiral. It was Eurillo, yet his appearance had changed. His hair had shortened dramatically, the length ending just below his ears in the back. It looked much more fluffy, too. His ears were no longer pointed and his antlers were gone, a crown of blue and white orchids in their place. His clothes remained relatively the same, only that a blue cloak now draped over his left shoulder, the straps also made of a different flora. Croy noticed him slightly leaning down, which made the ghost feel a little childish. He wasn't much shorter than the god, but then Eurillo spoke, his tone the same, but the volume was softer. "I appreciate you visiting, Croy. I understand it may be difficult due to the past." Croy's hand clenched into a fist, a lump growing in his throat. Eurillo saw right through him, and he was mentioning when Angel died. What happened flashed in his mind. The grave he built pictured perfect in his mind, as if he stood right before it in that very moment. And the argument that came after the announcement. Eurillo sighed through his nose, the ghost noticing him tilting his head subtly, as if trying to look directly at Croy's gaze. "He would not want you to feel guilty, and you are keeping up with your promise to him, to be there for us if we needed it. And Krufik needs it. He would be proud of you." Eurillo was silent for a moment, as if considering what to say next. "I wish to do the same. If you ever need help, I'm not as far as you think." And with that, the god stepped back, allowing Croy space to leave. Right. That's all Croy could say, giving a small nod before turning and leaving the room, the beeping of the heart monitor fading into the background. He was there for 14 minutes and 24 seconds. Absolute cinema. I love CJ's writing so much. Blitz, welcome! Like, I feel like CJ's kind of underrated. Not enough people hype up CJ's writing. Like, it's so well done. The descriptions are so good. The dialogue is so good. It's amazing. We have Proud from Angel. Log 5. It has been weird recently. I think his new name is Croy. I'm not sure. Oh, is this Angel talking about Alfie? He has a new companion. Kron, I think it is. Would Croy be proud of me? Would he be mad? I'm nothing like I used to be. Maybe even a completely different person. Just being called the same name. Onyx has been suspicious of me lately, of how I haven't been leaving his house much. I don't want to face Susu. Not like this. Not when I'm constantly changing bandages just to stop it from getting infected. I would seem weak. I left my wings in that field, the wings that I brutally cut off with the axe that he gave me. But I hope he doesn't come across them. Aside from that, I want to go visit Krufik, but I'm afraid. What if someone is there? What if it's someone I used to know? I think it would be better if I didn't go. Oh, I think it would be better off if no one else knows I'm alive. Well, either way, I know that if I die again, I likely won't be brought back as Loomis is dead. But that also means I won't go through all that bullshit of dying again, which is relieving to say the least. I'm really proud of him. I know he has been going to see Krufik in the hospital every now and then. Sometimes whenever I debate going to visit her, I see Croy going in, which is about twice now, I believe. Oh, they got so close to seeing each other. I hope he never noticed me. I'm grateful for him taking care of them, for making sure Krufik and Eurillo and everyone else are okay. He promised me he would, and I really truly am proud of him. Speaking of Eurillo, I am actually kind of hoping he doesn't know I'm alive right now, but knowing him, he likely knows already. And if he doesn't, it's probably better that way. On another note, I think I might change my name. I already look different and act different. All I am is just the ghost of who I used to be, forced to carry the same name I used my entire life. Actually, didn't Mom name me Ian? I can't remember. I barely remember anything from Kiwan, other than Mom and Dad, Dad's abuse, and Loomis and Kaina. That's about it. God, I wish my memory wasn't absolute shit. I guess that is all. Angel. The angst! The angst! Solace Weather Alert! The Solace Weather Services has issued a tornado emergency for the following areas. The Northwest Plains, Northcrest Village, the Northern Alpines, Hilt Village, at 1324 within the following days, effective until 1612 that same day. Message transmission from the Sioux on NC Weather Science Facility. Oh my gosh! Tornado emergency! We need like the sound effect of like like weather alert, or like you get on your phone. That's my best impression of it. From Balios, enemies. Balios had left the hospital and was walking home. He felt okay, but could definitely feel what Malice meant about the strength. His arms felt heavier and his legs dragged on the ground. He wanted to go home and sleep, but instead he decided to take a walk. He decided to go find his old house in the bog. It wasn't terribly far, but it was closer than where his home is now. Balios walked towards the bog. He passed a place he absolutely hated, the HOE. He faced the gate and he wanted to do something. Anything to get back at Okel. Oh, don't do it, Balios! He fully blamed her for everything that happened, but he knew with his strength he couldn't do much. Yet, he still went in. Calmly. Slowly. As if stalking a prey. He hid behind the walls or crates when people passed as he looked at the door of Okel's building. He decided to use a new sigil, Shadow Walk. It allowed the user to enter a phantom state and not be seen nor heard. They would also be able to pass through walls. He walked past the people at the front of the building and through the door. He made it to Okel's office and the sigil wore off. He made a handle appear of dark matter and a blade out of vines. It was sharp and could cut metal if swung hard enough. He kicked open the